What's up? Plugged on. Tyler, Keith, Frank.
Yo!
Hi.
It is finally here. We finally saw it.
10 years in the making. Actually, 11 years at this
11
point.
years, yeah. 22 movies. It all comes to an end. We're here to talk about Avengers Endgame.
It's the big one, man.
It's the biggest one.
It's the biggest one.
It's the end. Sorta. Kinda.
I think almost the way that I've been interpreting it, and this was even before I saw the movie. I think this is the end of like the Avengers. Like the MCU will still exist and might even be crossovers with movies, but I don't know if we're gonna get another big Avengers movie like this again. Yeah. I don't know. But it seems like how do you beat the scale and stuff? But
Technically, Spider-Man: Far From Home this summer's the final movie in Phase 3, but still, this is like the end, the culmination of everything since the very first Iron Man. We're going to talk high level here in the beginning. We're not going to talk immediate spoilers, but eventually we will get into spoilers because there's some significant things to talk about.
Yeah, it's a movie. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I hazard a very good guess that the spoilery section of this video will be much, much longer than the other section.
Yeah,
because there is
kind
a
of want it to
lot
be
of stuff.
There's a lot of cool stuff that happens, but yeah, definitely make sure you go see the movie and then come back to this if you haven't seen it yet. So let's start. Maybe try to keep this section a little bit shorter than usual, just because there's so much that I want to talk about.
I like the haircuts. New haircuts for some people.
Everybody's got to do.
Everyone looking fresh.
Hawkeye has multiple hairdos throughout this whole movie.
Which, I mean, is fine because, because things happen. But
yeah.
So does everybody. Like, Captain Marvel's she's got, like, the shorter haircut like she does in the comics now. Mm-hmm. You've seen the Black Widow's hair, or her hair growing out like it is in a lot of the trailers, so... Which I guess, I know they said something about faking trailer shots. I guess that was one of them. In the original trailer, she had like just her short white hair in the original teaser trailer they put out. I'm like, okay, that's one of the shots that they faked. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, in those trailers, man, I mean, everything they showed was so early in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except for I think I did see one of the more recent ones, which showed a little bit more of somewhat later stuff, and I was like, because it's in the trailer. Like it was Cap strapping up the shield tighter was like a shot from one of them. I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a lot of cool stuff. I feel like it was. I mean, it was nice because a lot of the main Avengers played a backseat in the previous movie, especially like Cap and I mean, Hawkeye wasn't even, and Ant-Man weren't even there, but like they played a much more pivotal role, and I think they did a really, really, really good job. Especially again, I think Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans both did phenomenal, and Robert Downey Jr. did great because a lot of different directions they took some of these characters, like just weird places, like especially with Tony Stark and especially Thor.
Absolutely,
is not where I thought the Thor character was gonna go, but
even Hulk.
Yeah, that was
a little bit different direction than I thought.
But
I liked it.
I liked it. I was okay with it just because it's like okay. And then they've been saying for a long time that there was going to be an arc for the Hulk and Bruce Banner over what Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War in this movie. I'm like okay, I can see it.
Definitely was.
It works. So
yeah,
music was good. Caught the Avengers theme a bunch of times and got super psyched whenever the Avengers theme would play because that's a great theme. Yeah, it's definitely... There was a couple things that I kind of knew that I had kind of heard rumors that were going on in the story ahead of time. But even then, they went like completely off the rails of where I thought it was going to go by the end. Like it was a completely different movie than I thought it was going to be by the time you get to the final fight, if you want to call it that. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great performances. A lot of the CG looked great. References out the wazoo, just references everywhere, which I mean works. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool just because again it's a culmination of 21 other movies, so it's like here's all the other, boom, here's I don't
want to be spoilers. I know some of the references are
real good. They're real good. But
yeah. Definitely. It's a really great movie, and it does just so much right. And to me, like, Infinity War was right off the bat action. And there was so much action throughout the whole thing. Whereas this one, definitely a lot more slower paced, subtle.
A lot of focusing on the time after.
Definitely. Definitely.
Infinity War.
Like, they did a good job setting up what was a just completely catastrophic moment, you know? And just giving you more context to that. And then also, I just think some of the things that happen in this movie, not just because it's the last movie, they just mean a little bit more just because of the pace of it. And when that action does happen, damn, is it good.
Yeah.
It's real good. Some of the best action that Marvel's had in any of these movies, and that's saying something, because they've had a lot of really great shit for a long time.
There's something I want to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff.
So there's some good stuff.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's such a fitting way to end it. There's so many moments where your heart's pounding. There's moments where you just want to bawl like a baby. Some people definitely did in the theater.
I was afraid the guy next to me would start crying on my shoulder.
Gonna lose his
there was several moments where the whole theater just lost their fucking
I was gonna say, like, I don't do that at theaters, but there's just a couple moments where I'm just like,
it was awesome, and they really nailed a lot of things. There's some things that I can think of that I'm like on, but they are so like nitpicky, almost like Infinity War. Like, there's things that Infinity War that doesn't do as well, or is a little weird, but they're nitpicky in the end.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can tell that they really put so much time and effort into writing and making sure everything in these two movies are perfect. And one day I absolutely want to watch both of them back to back.
Just to see.
It's fucking 5.5 hours, but damn.
Yeah.
Because this movie seriously just picks up like almost nearly right at the end of Infinity War.
Days after.
Yeah.
Days, weeks, or something.
And it went in some interesting directions, but I think it was worth it on the end. And also, I mean, just at a high level, it ends in an interesting place where it takes, especially the core 6 original Avengers in the MCU, puts them in good places for them to go, because, Robert Downey Jr. said he wasn't coming back, Chris Evans, they said they're not coming back. They put them in good spots while also leaving the doors open to the future.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely fell in love with this movie. I don't think Marvel gets any better than this. It's hard for me to imagine anything topping this within the next decade. They built something really incredible here, and part of me is a little bit sad because I know, like, shit, this is it. This is the moment. This is the pinnacle, and yeah, there are going to be great Marvel movies in the future, but man, this is going to be the one that you tell your kids about.
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of backdoor, like, set up for something else, like some subtle thing that Marvel was like, hey, put this in here, and it's like 10 years later it's the next big thing, and it's like fucking Galactus or whatever next big.
It's possible.
I mean,
there's certainly some villains that they could build up to, but do they want to do 20 movies again?
Yeah,
lead up to it, because they said Phase 4 will be 5 years.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Because this Phase 3 was only like 3 or 4. It was
longer than that. Phase 3 started with
2016. It was 2016 was when Phase 3 started. So yeah, about 4 years or so.
Yeah.
So
4. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is certainly, I think, the pinnacle for superhero movies. Like, I truly don't see it ever getting better than this.
Yeah. This
entire run. And no matter what Marvel does, and they've done so many great things, they've really, ever since Phase 2, haven't fallen on their face, really, at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the argument could be made for, like, Thor, The Dark World, maybe, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But still, even those movies aren't the worst movies in the fucking world. You know what I mean? And they're always going to be compared to this. no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hard for them to even outdo themselves. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But damn, what a great ending!
Remember Justice League happened?
I know.
God.
Think how much of an
I almost forgot that movie. Like, I had to
think about how much of an afterthought that is now. Like, just look at that movie and then just look at this.
I know.
Man.
And I know, like, DC, you know, I'm not to get into a whole Marvel DC thing because it just happens constantly, but it's so hard to not compare them.
Yeah.
Because DC has characters, like, Marvel took characters that nobody gave a flying fuck about, like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther and Doctor Strange, and made them, like, household fucking names.
Yeah.
That make billions of dollars. You know? And DC has the potential to do the same exact thing. Yeah. And they're going in a different direction. You know, I mean, the past few movies they've done have, you know, they've been fine, but compared to even to...
Yeah.
It's that connection that just gets you excited, because even if you are a fan of fucking Captain America, you know, there's going to be something in fucking Ant-Man that gets you excited for the next Captain America movie or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that connection. DC fumbled.
Yeah, but
because Justice League should have been fucking huge.
It should have been, but it wasn't.
Just fucking huge.
I feel like they rushed the build up to it. Like,
they did.
Like, they did not have enough characters established to justify doing justice.
I mean, it would have been a completely different story if, like, Aquaman had come out beforehand, because then it's like, boom, you have your big four already established. But whatever, that's a different video for another day.
There's potential. They'll maybe get there eventually. But anything else on this?
No, we got to spoil.
We got to do some spoilers.
Scores
9.5. Maybe a 10. I'm gonna stick with 9.5. I want to watch it a second time before I worry about giving it a 10 or not.
Turning it up to 11.
Oh shit!
11 out of 10. This might be my favorite movie, like, of the past, like, decade.
It's good. 9.5 for me as well. It's damn good. Potentially the best Marvel movie.
Potentially.
Like I said, I want to see it again. I love Infinity War so much. Even rewatching Infinity War 2 weeks ago, I was like, fuck.
This movie's good.
I love everything about this movie. But yeah, this was certainly good. They nailed just about everything. We're going to talk spoilers.
So if you haven't seen it,
get out.
Please go away, because
leave.
Oh God, there's just so many cool, like, little moments that I just want to bring up. But all right,
yeah.
let's just.
Are we gonna go?
What do we start
sequentially? Or do we just want to start from the beginning to the end, or do we want to?
We could do something.
Do we want to pull out a moment?
We could just kind of start from the beginning.
I'll say in the beginning,
like the gathering of, or do we want to start with, like?
No, I'll be like in the very, very beginning. I mean, they kill Thanos 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Like, Thor cuts his fucking head off, and I'm like,
which was awesome.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. That was interesting to know that he used the stones a second time.
Because that's how they found it. I guess it turns out that's how they
Yeah.
found him, and so he used them to destroy the stones so that nobody could return it. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh shit, well, how the hell are they going to do this? And they did a good job of playing up of, like, even the characters felt like,
in 5 years of nothing.
But I will say, even before that, the moment that gets me every fucking time, and it's the only time, you know, certainly I felt emotional at the very end, very end, which we'll get to, but none of it made me, like, want to bawl like a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? But every time Tony Stark and Peter Parker gets me.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he gets
picks
off
up that picture.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
When he picks up the picture, when he gets off that plane, he says to Steve Rogers, "I lost a kid."
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck! I almost want to cry. And right at the very end, every time, every goddamn time.
I thought it was very. I also thought it was very effective to start with Hawkeye and his family. And I'm like, oh no, because you know where this is gonna go. And I'm like,
what an opening that was.
Yeah. Then So I guess the main crux for like a good portion of the movie involves time travel,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting concept. I think for the most part they did time travel very well. There's a few nitpicky things that I was thinking of where they're like, you got to put things back the way they were, and I'm like, okay, but so they go back to what, four time periods? They go back to the events of the Avengers, the events of Thor: The Dark World, and then the events of Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they end up going to the
Vormir?
Boromir there. So Loki escapes with the Tesseract. How the fuck are you gonna fix that?
Yeah.
Thor takes the hammer with him. How the fuck are you gonna fix that?
Yep.
What's the other one? Fuck.
Steve Rogers fights himself, too.
Yeah,
I mean, not that has
not-
major consequences,
But then he
it's still weird.
erased his memory.
Well, I mean, I more went with
Yeah.
him, with how his whole thing ends with him just staying behind and whatnot, and then
Right.
fuck, there was a fourth one. What was the fourth one? It was and then Thanos and all them going into the future, and I'm like,
Yeah, it does get a little kind of...
does get a little fucky.
Hokey.
Also, like how are they gonna rectify that? It's been 5 years, and of Peter Parker's classmates got snapped. Like, did Ned get snapped? Like, they're not the same age. Are they the same age? Whatever. You know what?
Yeah.
But that's very nitpicky stuff. But I thought it was super cool because, I mean, the references, man.
it's space magic, man.
The references, man. Like, to the first Avengers, which was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome to see.
I love everything about the elevator scene.
Yeah.
Where it referencing the comics where he just goes, Hail Hydra. I'm like,
Yes.
that is the most clever thing I've ever seen. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. Also, once again, I mean, this movie nails the comedy.
Yeah.
It's used so well. My favorite comedy stuff involves Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I highly doubt Chris Hemsworth is going to do Guardians 3.
That'd be
But
really cool.
God fucking damn it.
That'd be awesome.
I want those two in the whole fucking movie. Because him and Chris Pratt are perfect. And every time he like calls Rocket or a rabbit or...
Hey, Ratchet.
Yeah.
No, my name's Rocket.
Hey, tree!
Hey, tree.
Also with Thor... Yeah, definitely a different direction. Brought the hair back. He
got
made
fucking
him super fat.
He got fucking thick. And I was like, and in which I was talking to my girlfriend Maggie, who was sitting next to me while we were watching. And I'm like, and she was like, "Is he still fat?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then I looked, and I'm looking at the scene. I'm like, "I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's still fat at the end of the movie." I'm like, "That's funny."
We were talking on the way home. Like, do you think Chris Hemsworth actually had to get fat for that?
Nah, they put a fucking thing over him. I mean, I
How
don't.
funny would that be?
That would be very funny, but
God, it'd be awful.
yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting direction, and he was kind of weird the whole movie, and I get that he was upset because he could have stopped the whole thing in Infinity War, but he fucked up, and he felt it kind of all landed on him, the whole thing, and that definitely, I mean, it's a major thing to weigh on someone. But I was almost like, how the hell are they going to get him out of this?
And then he like talks with his mom,
his mother, he gets his
Asgard,
hammer
like-
back, and later, when he gets in fighting mode, that's badass. When he has the hammer and Stormbreaker,
He's like, yeah,
that's
fuck.
awesome.
That was a. I'm trying to think if there's any other major like reference moments I could think of. Well, I mean, this moment kind of gets overshadowed, which it kind of sucks because I feel like it is an actual cool moment. Is because Hawkeye and Black Widow go to Nidavellir, and then it's Boromir. That's where it is, and somebody has to sacrifice himself. So she sacrifices herself. I think the only reason that kind of loses itself a little bit is because it's somewhat. I mean, it's how Gamora went. Also, okay, well, Tony Stark dies. I'm like, it's overshadowed a bit.
Definitely. I mean, she's been such a major character.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's
many
a cool thing.
movies.
You get an origin story now. I mean,
And she was kind of the one holding the Avengers together after the...
yeah, basically,
Definitely.
she was the only one like doing stuff. I mean, it's a perfect end of her arc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was kind of surprised but then at the same time when they got there, I'm like, to me they don't kill Jeremy Renner because that would be just kind of lame to bring Hawkeye into this movie.
Yeah,
just to kill him
like
again,
a
throwaway character.
yeah. So I figured it was going to be her just
Yeah.
because it would make the most.
That
sense.
was an intense situation because they both didn't want to let each other go. And like when Hawkeye went to just dive in, you're like, oh shit, there he goes, and then she jumps after him, and it's like, oh, they're both gonna die. But
which is another interesting thing they kind of work around it, which I guess we'll get to in like a second. Is neither her nor Gamora technically come back. Like she's dead, and Gamora's dead, and I guess Loki's dead. And
no, Loki.
I mean, okay.
Did you not see Loki in the last bit there? Or wait, no, that wasn't Loki.
Loki wasn't in the last bit there. No.
Yeah.
No, he just escaped back in 2012, and so there's your backdoor pilot to the Loki series on Disney Plus. Is Loki's adventures in that timeline, but
it was really. I mean, a large chunk of the movie is the whole time travel and getting the stones back, and that whole. I don't even know how long that was, but it was.
It's probably it was a journey. Probably a good half an hour to 45 minutes of the movie, because and they bring back all kinds of other people. They bring back Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One from Doctor Strange. Did not see that.
And her and Mark Ruffalo, fantastic.
That's cool.
Pair.
And trying to explain how the branching time, how they try to patch it back together, and I mean, it makes sense to try to make a loop that converges in the end.
Yeah, it's just so nothing gets messed up. But and then they go back further, and the whole when Cap and Tony go back further, I feel like that moment really only exists so that Tony can have that conversation with his father, which is a cool moment. But I'm like,
very cool moment.
But I'm like, but I'll let it slide, because again, it's a very cool moment, which maybe sets up Tony's choice at the end of the movie. But some cool stuff. But
there was some really great lines with that though. Of Tony saying hey, everything's
dancing
gonna work out okay,
dancing around.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. just did such an amazing job. He did an amazing job throughout this whole movie. He might be my favorite performance. And it might be my favorite performance that he has had in so many of these movies, because just so many emotional moments, like him and his kid,
which was oh boy,
amazing. And then him and his dad. That was
again the second I saw him with the kid. I'm like, oh no, this is gonna hurt, isn't it? This is gonna hurt a lot. Yep. But
yeah. So I mean, them getting the stones back was
cool,
very interesting.
And then they do the thing with using Nebula.
Yeah.
With how they sort of get to the final thing, where I guess because they're
on the same network.
Her brain is on a network, and so since they're on the same network, they're linked up, and that's how Thanos finds out about what happens in the future. And then the two Nebulas trade places, and then that Thanos goes forward in time, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
is where the mindfucker really starts. But
and so then they basically they need to get the stones to snap and bring everything back, and they do that. Hulk does it.
They get the Hulk because gamma radiation. He's not going to die from it.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh shit, they did it. And there's a happy moment. And then, bam, missiles.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell breaks loose.
And then Thanos just sitting there, just waiting.
Yeah. Which, that moment there, complete fucking plot armor. There's no way anyone would survive.
Oh, 100%.
He fucking bombed the hell out of the Avengers HQ.
Also the whole thing with Nebula is an ex machina, just to have the plot go forward. I like it. It's creative and different, but it's definitely you just needed something so that the movie wouldn't end right here, and then you can have your big battle sequence.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was interesting. And you get into Iron Man, Thor, Captain America fighting Thanos. Fucking awesome.
So cool.
It's one of my favorite things.
I mean the whole theater just erupted when Thanos is doing because again he's doing the reverse. He's trying to he's trying to do the reverse of what Thor did to him in the end of the last movie. And he's pushing the axe at him, and then you see the hammer fly at him, and you're like, what? My thought was, I figured it ended up being Cap. That Cap did it, and I'm like, that's cool. But I'm like, could it be Tony? I'm like, no. But then it was Cap, and I'm like, oh, and then Cap throwing both the hammer and the shield around. Oh,
and Thor acknowledging, I knew he was worthy.
Hey, call back
Yeah.
to the weakest Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, with the fucking hammer pull scene, the
Yeah.
party scene. But my God, that is a cool moment.
Yeah. Captain America beating the shit out of Thanos is my favorite part of this whole movie. Potentially my favorite moment in all of the episodes.
Because it's just such a cool moment when he has the hammer, and it's just
It was amazing. It was creative, and it was fucking violent. I loved it. Like, I loved how like almost all the music cut out. And it's just beating the fuck out of him.
yeah.
God, that was awesome. That was so cool.
And then again, because again references all over the place. With Falcon coming in saying on your left and portals are opening up, and here comes all the snap victims.
Then it's
and
the
a bunch
fucking
of
battle
armies.
of 5 armies
And I'm
here,
like,
and it's like,
and I'm like, oh, okay, this is. I'm like, I did not see it going this way.
That whole battle, that whole sequence there was like so epic. You wanted to cry.
I was like,
you're like,
I did not.
Everybody is here. This is amazing.
I did not see this going this way, but my God, am I happy it is.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. But then all the meetups during that, it's the whole stuff of like, there's a giant battle going around you. Let's stand and talk. But
like, no. You get
good.
the smaller one.
Yeah. Like Iron Man meeting back up with Doctor Strange, and Tony Stark going,
Pepper Potts got
hey.
an Iron Man suit flying around out there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Peter Parker getting back with Iron Man. There's so many amazing kind of reunions that happened there that was awesome. So, and then the intense part about that is there's all this fighting, but they still have to destroy the stones.
No, they need
have
to
to get
send
them back.
Yeah.
They have to get them back. So they're trying to keep it away and
playing rugby with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Well, their improvised
Yeah.
Infinity
Black
Gauntlet.
Panther to Spider-Man. Valkyrie gets in there. It was
To
awesome.
Captain Marvel, and then
Yeah. That gets me to my only grievance. Captain Marvel is so random in this movie.
Yeah, a bit. I can see
Hardly
that.
in the movie. Very no personality to her at all. And also, I just feel like she's there to just save the day, and that's it. And she's like the Superman of the Marvel universe.
I mean,
Well, that's what she's been doing
I
with
know,
like
but it
thousands
just-
of planets out there.
It's just- I think-
frustrates me.
I think she just sees this as business as usual.
I think the only thing with that, which is, I almost in some ways wish that the movies came out in a different order because or that somehow something else got worked out, because I almost feel as though Captain Marvel should have came out before Infinity War, because the only thing is that it coming out and being the movie before Infinity War sort of set up this expectation that it was going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
That she was going to be a big thing, which sort of like how when Black Panther came out, and then the next couple months, I mean, Wakanda was a big part of Infinity War, but that was not the case in this one. So I mean, granted, it's fine because this was definitely much more of a send off for the original Avengers than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, most of the other characters are only in the last couple minutes of the movie and have minimal dialogue, if any at all. But
Yeah. Now, her destroying ships never gets old.
Yeah.
It's fucking sick. When she destroys Thanos' ship, amazing. But I feel like when it comes to any of the characters, she's just kind of the one where I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck about her because there's no major threat to take her out.
at least like for that right now. I mean,
Now,
granted,
Thanos gave her a good blast.
you know-
He did. I'm not going to deny that.
To that I say fuck it, because DC can have their Superman. Fuck off, we can have
and
our
that's
Captain
why,
Marvel.
like, in the DC universe, Superman bores the fucking shit out of me.
I think-
there's no threat to
I think
him.
it's a thing of again finding the balance, simply because the whole movie basically Thanos does not have the gauntlet, which basically makes it a fair fight between him and the Avengers. That was sort of the thing, was that there was never a fair fight in Infinity War, and so then the only way that I feel like Captain Marvel, he would have to have the gauntlet, in which then we've kind of done that before. So that's like the only thing. Maybe if Thanos would have had which again they did in Infinity War. It's sort of, I think she was just a necessary sacrifice in some ways, in the sense of making this movie different enough.
Yeah, and I will say that I almost wish they had a little bit more of both of them fighting, because like, once he puts the glove on, he's super powerful again, and he gives her that good shot when he rips the Soul Stone out and everything. I'm like, oh,
that's a cool.
Okay,
that's
this
a cool
is cool.
idea.
I want to see a little bit more of this, just because that's a pretty titanic battle.
Yeah, that's maybe the only thing. I mean, the movie's already 3 hours long.
Yeah,
fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess the only thing really that's left is during like a scuffle, Tony gets his hands on the stones and he does the snap, but since he's just a dude, it kills him, kills all of Thanos' army and whatnot. But
yeah, two things with that I love, because when Iron Man, Doctor Strange meet up, Tony's like, hey man, are we gonna win? Basically, you said there's one way we win, and Doctor Strange says all this stuff, and then right then
he
just gives him the one, and it's like Tony knows what needs to happen in a way. But yeah,
but then also he says, I am Iron Man, and I'm like,
and how amazing is it really? Like, the whole MCU comes full circle. Starts with Iron Man, finishes with Iron Man.
I know, it's so good. It's
so
amazing.
Good. And is it sad? Yeah, but I think it's such an incredible end. And then, of course, there's the sadness of Pepper Potts.
As you say, I'm glad that not everybody was like Steve didn't come around, because I mean Steve got his moment later. Like, I'm glad it was just like Rhodey and Peter and Pepper, and that was it. Like, it's a good way to send him off.
Absolutely.
I think it's the best way, because I mean,
and I think that doesn't happen unless he has that conversation with his father.
Yeah, again, maybe that's the thing. It doesn't happen unless he's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, which maybe he's decided at that point he will. So
yeah, I agree.
But and then I guess a lot of cleanup stuff of just characters, what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Thor's with the Guardians of the Galaxy, at least for now, which is cool.
Yeah,
I guess. But Cap goes back to put the Infinity Stones back, but then he just hangs around.
Yeah.
And he lives a life, and he gets old, and I guess he marries Peggy, and I'm like, he gets his dance. I'm like,
that's a great ending.
That's a great ending for him.
On just a sweet,
just that thing. I'm like, yeah, man, that's
because that's like all he wanted, Yeah,
it's like he did his duty to let him live out his life, and then he gives the shield to Sam. So I guess he's going to be Captain America. I guess since Bucky's now the White Wolf in ways, I guess he doesn't need to be Cap.
Think he'll have the shield in the Disney Plus series?
I don't know. It depends. I mean,
it depends when it takes place. But man, they really set it up to happen after Endgame, I think.
Also, they set it up for it to happen after Endgame, but then also there's not really any time where Bucky and Falcon are together for an extended period of time before that. So, yeah, I guess unless the Bucky Falcon, whatever it's called, it's sort of a dumb name. So unless they come up with a better name for it, so.
At least right now, I don't know if they're changing the name, but they're just calling it Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, just
so. But yeah, what a great ending.
Yeah, my God. We're probably going for that.
Hawkeye's back with his family.
He was on a murderous fucking rampage in the beginning of the movie, which it was like, whoa, there's like some dark stuff. This is, again, because this movie gets into a really dark place with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, legit. Granted, there's not that much blood or anything, but you legit see Thor cut Thanos' head off. Like, it does not cut away. You
see Hawkeye slit a mob dude's throat.
Yeah, and then stab him. Like, I'm like,
you see Black Widow on the ground, blood just fucking everywhere.
Like, it's just like,
I'm glad that they didn't shy away from being a little bit more adult.
Yeah,
at times.
I think everybody who needed to die or needed to be out of the picture who did it. I mean, if I would have picked 3 Avengers, I would have picked those 3 to either die or do their own things. Everybody else has got something that they could do.
Yeah.
So, coolio. Good shit, man.
Can't think of too much else. Amazing jokes about Captain America's ass.
That is awesome. America's ass.
That is America's ass.
I also, one of my favorite comedic lines was when Iron Man called Ant-Man a pissant.
Hey, all right, pissant.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, oh no.
That's
Just made
that's
me
a good
laugh.
one. There's
It was funny.
And
love all the time travel references, like Back to the Future. No, that's not
Yeah.
how this works. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Trying to think of Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really weird stuff. Like the only way that Scott Lang comes out of the quantum realms because a fucking rat just steps on a bunch of buttons for the machine.
Yep.
Like, okay, all right, I guess you just kind of got to roll with that a little bit.
Or like, there's just a lot of like weird things too. Like I go back and forth on whether or not I appreciate the added humor with the Hulk that sort of takes place after Avengers, like of him having to go downstairs. It's funny. Is it necessary? I don't know. I don't know, but it's really funny how Hulk hates stairs.
So many stairs.
And he just decks Tony in the face. I'm like, oh god, that's very good.
Yes,
But
it's a whole movie.
yeah, I'll probably watch it again after finals. So 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see it again just because it's something else. I think we'll have to update that MCU list.
I think we will too. I mean, hey, also at the end of the year we'll probably have to update. I mean, that one's a little bit more. Update that Star Wars list and then update that Game of Thrones list here after a bit directly. So
Yeah.
fuck, all kinds of
shit
updates needed to go.
2019, when all your favorite series come to an end.
Die. I'm all right. So my heart got wrenched out today, Sunday. Time for it again.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for Brienne and Torment to die. What?
Spoilers, he's watching it again.
yeah, I just started my rewatch, man. I just finished season 1 yesterday.
Oh,
On my rewatch.
Oh, you know they live. Oh well. All right.
Yeah.
Coolio.
Yeah. Go watch Avengers Endgame. It's great.
Fantastic.
See you.